My dear friend, I want to begin today with a question that may seem puzzling at first. Are you working against your own desires by trying too hard? I know this sounds contradictory. We've been taught that effort brings results, that persistence overcomes resistance, that the harder we work, the more we achieve. But what if I told you there's a spiritual law that operates in the exact opposite way? What if your very efforts to make things happen are the very thing preventing them from happening? This is what I call the law of reversed effort. And understanding this law will transform not only how you approach your desires, but how quickly they manifest in your life. Let me share with you a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. A woman once came to me, desperate and exhausted. She had been visualizing the same desire for months, a new position that would bring her greater income and satisfaction. Every morning and evening, she created her mental picture with such intensity that her forehead would wrinkle with concentration. She would grip her hands together and strain every muscle in her body as if her physical effort could somehow push her desire into reality. "I'm doing everything right," she told me. "I visualize twice a day. I affirm constantly. I even carry a picture of the office building where I want to work, but nothing is happening. In fact, things seem to be getting worse." I smiled gently and asked her a simple question. "When you make your mental picture, how do you feel?" "Determined," she replied immediately. "Focus. I put everything I have into it." "And after you finish your visualization?" She paused. "Well, anxious, I suppose. I wonder if I did it right. I worry about when it will happen." I checked the job boards obsessively. There it was, the very thing blocking her good. You see, my friend, there is a fundamental misunderstanding about how the creative power operates. Your conscious, reasoning mind has one job and one job only: to form the clear mental picture of what you desire. That is your part. That is where your effort belongs. But once that picture is formed and held with feeling, your work is done. Completely done. The universal subconscious mind, that infinite intelligence that governs all creation, takes over from there. It begins to work through invisible channels, arranging circumstances, bringing people together, opening doors you never knew existed. But here's the crucial point. This creative power works through natural, easy flow, not through struggle, not through strain, not through your anxious interference. When you constantly worry about how your desire will manifest, when you check for results every day, when you visualize with tension and force, you are literally working against the very power you're trying to invoke. Think of it this way. Imagine you planted a seed in your garden. Would you dig it up every day to see if it was growing? Would you pull on the tiny sprout to make it grow faster? Of course not. You would water it, give it sunlight, and trust the natural process of growth. Your desires work the same way. Once planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, they begin to grow through invisible processes. But they need the right conditions. They need peace. They need trust. They need you to get out of the way. Let me tell you what spiritual strain looks like, so you can recognize it in your own experience. You are operating under the law of reversed effort when you visualize with a furrowed brow and tense muscles. When you finish your mental work and immediately start planning how to make it happen. When you feel anxious if you don't see immediate results. When you constantly affirm your desire with desperation rather than conviction. All of these are signs that you are trying to do the work that belongs to the universal mind. You're trying to control the how, when your only job is to be clear about the what. The woman I mentioned earlier learned to apply what I call active receptivity. This is not passive waiting. This is the conscious choice to maintain a state of joyful expectancy while allowing the creative power to work. Here's what I taught her to do. After creating her mental picture each morning, she would take a deep breath and say, "My part is done. I have given this desire to the infinite intelligence that knows exactly how to bring it into form. I now release it completely and go about my day in peaceful confidence." Instead of spending her day anxiously checking job boards, she engaged in activities that brought her joy and peace. She took walks in nature. She read books that inspired her. She spent time with friends who made her laugh. She cultivated the very feelings she would have when her desire was fulfilled. This is the secret that most people miss. Your job is not to figure out how your desire will manifest. Your job is to become the person who naturally attracts what you want. And you do that by embodying the feelings of already having it. Within 3 weeks, something remarkable happened. A former colleague called her unexpectedly. A position had opened at his company. Not the exact job she had been visualizing, but something even better. Higher salary, more creative freedom, and a work environment that exceeded her original mental picture. The opportunity came through a channel she never could have planned or predicted. It came because she stopped interfering with the natural flow of creation. Now, you might be thinking, but Genevieve, doesn't this mean I should just sit back and do nothing? Not at all. Active receptivity means you take inspired action when it feels natural and easy. When an idea comes to you with a sense of rightness, you follow it. When an opportunity presents itself, you embrace it, but you don't force. You don't strain, you flow. There's a beautiful verse that captures this principle perfectly. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength, not in struggle, not in strain, in quietness and confidence. I want you to understand something profound about the nature of creation itself. Everything that exists first existed as an idea in the universal mind. The chair you're sitting on, the device you're listening to this on, the very air you're breathing. All of it began as thought before it became form. You are an individualized center of the same creative power. When you form a clear mental picture and charge it with feeling, you are using the exact same process that brought the entire universe into existence. But this process works through natural law, not human effort. The law is always working perfectly. If you're experiencing struggle and delay, it's not because the law isn't working. It's because you're working against it. So how do you align yourself with this law instead of fighting it? Let me give you a simple daily practice that will transform your relationship with your desires. Each morning, after you create your mental picture, say these words with deep conviction. I release this into the hands of the infinite power, and I go about my day in joyful expectation. Then, throughout your day, whenever you catch yourself worrying about your desire or trying to figure out how it will happen, gently redirect your attention. Remind yourself, my part is done. I trust the process. Engage in activities that raise your vibration. Listen to music that makes you feel alive. Spend time in nature. Do things that bring you genuine joy. These are not distractions from your manifestation work. They're the very essence of it. Remember, the feeling you cultivate is the signal you send to the universal mind. When you feel joyful, peaceful, and expectant, you're saying, I already have what I desire, and the universe responds accordingly. Here's a truth I want you to write on your heart. Your desires are not separate from you, trying to avoid you, requiring you to chase them down. They are already yours in the invisible realm of infinite possibility. Your only work is to maintain the consciousness that allows them to flow into visible form. The law of reversed effort teaches us that the very act of striving pushes away what we were trying to attract. But when we learn to hold our desires with the light touch of one who already possesses them, miracles become natural. So today, I invite you to try something different. After you make your mental picture, let it go with a feeling of completion. Trust that forces beyond your understanding are already working on your behalf. Step into your day with the quiet confidence of one who knows that all good things are already on their way. The easier you make it for your desires to reach you, the more quickly they will appear. Stop trying so hard to make things happen and allow yourself to be delightfully surprised by how beautifully they unfold. Your good is seeking you just as eagerly as you are seeking it. The question is, Will you allow it to find you?